This is Brother Jack coming to you live today from the heart of Dixie. Yes, there is trouble in the land, and we're in a church meeting tonight, and so I won't get a chance to bring back in. I'm going to give you my name and address one time. This is a very important night. We're going to cover some things that after you've been saved, this might be one of the most important messages you ever heard, because we're going to tell you how to prepare for the days ahead. I've got a list of things. If you just want to be like they were in the days of Noah, you won't want to write down nothing, because in the days of Noah, there was a spirit, and that spirit was the same spirit they have today. There's always times when everybody's eating, drinking, and marrying, and having a good time. I mean, it's always been that way. But one thing is, they had a spirit of unbelief. They had a spirit of unbelief. Now this spirit, they had it when Noah went into the ark. You know, he preached to them for 120 years and told them a lot of the things, some things I'm going to tell you tonight. They didn't pay any attention to him, didn't pay no mind at all. But now listen, when the floods came, the people were sick on their stomachs. They thought, my God, I am going to die, and they did, because they wouldn't listen. I'm going to give you more information tonight, and you're probably getting your entire life put together, most likely. And I'm going to show you some things I brought. I'm going to tell you how to survive. So you can write me Brother Jack or Jack Keeler, Keeler. It'll be P.O. Box 28, Boaz, B-O-A-Z, Alabama, 35957. That's Jack Keeler or Brother Jack's Ministry, P.O. Box 28, Boaz, B-O-A-Z, Alabama, 35957. That's all I got to say about that. Now, I noticed the other night, Brother Larry was telling me about y'all had seen a film on the blood moons and things, and I thought I had some films on that. I may, but I have a book or two on that, and I've studied that for a long time. And I don't have time tonight to go into Samikas and things like that. Probably you already know about that anyhow. So September the 13th will be the beginning of the Jewish Jubilee. And that'll be on, like I said, on the September the 13th. And then on the 28th will be the last blood moon. It has affected the stock market, so we don't know what's going to happen. I heard last night, I was listening to a lot of information on David Wilkerson. He told about just like the days that we're living in, and he said he saw, like in New York, 1,000 fires. Listen, when you don't have anything to eat, you're desperate, and you'll do anything. Your neighbor will come a member of the ISIS family. I got a man who lives across the street from me, sort of. He told me, I told him, I said, listen, I was trying to help him a little bit. He said, I ain't worried about it, so I'm going to kill me a hog. Well, he said they got plenty of them down in Texas and through there. I said, fella, you live in North Alabama. I mean, how stupid can you really get? But he said, I'm going to just kill me a hog. That'll go get me by. Well, if it's summertime, it's going to last him for 2 days, and I don't know what he's going to do for 3.5 years. So most people you can't even help. You can't help them at all. I know the lady sitting there, she talked about a dream that she had about the president and everything. I don't have too many dreams and things. I'm going to get more into things in just a moment, but I'm working up to it. I don't have a lot of dreams. I'll tell you two real quick. This was before the president was even elected. It was just before he was elected. I had this dream that the president would not finish his term. I wasn't thinking at all of our president, because I knew that he was not going to be president, so he wasn't even in my thoughts. So it turned out to be different, and I know why it was different. I can tell you why. It's God's time. You cannot turn God's timetable around. There's a time that that they'll be the last person to be saved. God knows that name. When it is, it's over with, so you can't turn God's timetable around. So that's what's going on now. I'm not a prophet or a son of a prophet, but I do know some things. I do a lot of study and listen to a lot of people, and it's going to be hard. It don't look like it now, but it may be hard. Miss Clinton, and I don't have time to go in all of this, but it was during their last election, and she was running ahead of President Obama, and they were called to Paris, and they met with, I don't know what you'd call them, Illuminati or whatever, a lot of money people, and they told her she wasn't going to be president, that it would be the next time. So she changed her mind. She was on television just giving him down the road, and they come back from Paris, said he's a fine man, said I'm not running, said I'm with him. So that's what happened. She backed off, and the money people are backing her now. So I don't know. It's hard to beat money people. Now, the lady was talking about something happening to her president and things like that. The dream that I had, and this was before the election, they were all running. I just simply had a dream the president of the United States was not going to finish his term. Now, let's see here. Okay, anyhow, that he wouldn't finish his term in office, and John McCain was running, and Sarah Palin was vice president. I thought, well, he's going to get in, and he'll get sick, and she's going to take over. Man, we got a Pentecostal president. Lo ho ho, that didn't happen. But so I just had the dream that he would not finish his term. So I don't know. We'll see. If he does. I'm not saying for sure because God didn't knock on my door and tell me. Dreams are dreams. I had another dream about 40-something years ago, and this dream was that I was in Gunnersville Lake, and when you go down the mountain here, the first body of water on the left there, I saw that in a dream, and I saw me and a friend of mine, and we were standing out in the lake, and the water was, there wasn't no water there, and we were standing there, and we didn't see any water. We was going to walk around and find some fish and stuff and sell it and make us some money. Well, I looked over there, and lo and behold, there was a wall of water come rushing like a mighty wind. Oh, my God, it scared me. I was closer to the bank than my brother was, and I hollered at him. I said, run for your life. So I got to the bank, just barely got to the bank, and my friend didn't. But it washed him to the back. I don't know whether he got out or not. It didn't mean he was a bad person. It just mean what it meant is that when judgment comes, it's going to come all of a sudden. It's going to come right now. Nobody is going to know what's coming. It's going to come in, I believe, in a second, and people will say, "Oh my God." But I believe that we're pretty close to that time now. I could go on and on. I've got an hour's message on that, but and I was going to teach that tonight, but I've been back in my room since Sunday, and Sunday night, Monday night, and part of the day, a little bit today. And I was going to go in, that Holy Spirit said to do this. He said, what's last, what you was going to teach on first tonight, he said, you teach it last. And what you're going to teach on last, he said, teach on it first. There's some scriptures like the first should be last, and last should be first. And we're going to work on that sort of a principle tonight. So we're going to talk about survival. I could take an hour and talk about when the Lord returns. I got so many scriptures there. When I got through, if I had an hour to do that, the only choice you'd have to say is God right or I'm right. So God's right. It's a misnomer. There's a lot of scriptures but we won't get into that tonight because I've got to stay with what we're doing. What I'm going to do, I got a couple of pages to read, but let me just show you some things to start with, and I'll just give you a little bit of idea what we can do. Let's say you was in trouble. Okay, don't forget your baby maces, just forget them. Get you a bear mace. That's a big boy. You get them right here down here at the gun shop around a tallow there, about $40. This here will knock off 15, 20 people. This puts out a fog, baby, and it puts it out there. Brother Ron Charles, he was here, he called me and talked to me not too long ago about some things I was trying to help him. And I talked to him several times about things. The Lord spoke to me to give him a mace. Well, it took me a while to save up $40 or whatever, but I give it to him, and he took it with him. I told him how to carry it with him. I told him to put it in a bag and put it under the plane and carry it with you. And when you get off the plane, take it off your bag. I said, has it helped you? And he said, I was in three different times. He said, I was attacked 3 times. He said, your bear mace got rid of all of them, every time. So I sent word to him that he needs to maybe get him a new mace, because after a while these things run down. But this thing here will reach way on back, and it's not a baby thing. It's so that's just something that you could get. People may not have a lot of money. When times get rough, you may have to defend yourself and your family. That's up to you whether you just want to, just say your wife's in there and you got 10, 15 men there, and they're going to come in there and kill you and rape your wife and kill her and steal your food. If that's all right, well, you just go ahead and do that. But it ain't all right with me. It ain't all right with most people. And if you want to just spend about $240, $50 to protect you and your family, get you a little, I went down here and same little gun shop down here in Tala, and $240, $50. Got me one of them little short 12 gauges. It's you put 5 or 6 loads in it, and you buy a buckshot. You don't get you no bird shot unless you want to shoot a bird. But you can put 5 or 6 in there, brother. And I'll tell you one thing, buckshot, and one of them things, there's probably 6, 7, 8, 10 little pieces in there, big as your little finger. And you can stand right here, brother, and you can wipe them out. You can move just that far every time you shoot and knock down 7, 8, 10 people. You get rid of people in a hurry with a 12-gauge pump, shotgun, or any kind of a shotgun, as long as you got buckshot in it. So that just give you a little bit of an idea there. We're talking about a number of things. Let's say you were sick, or you wanted to keep from getting sick. All right? They may be, God said in the Bible there'll be epidemics and things that will come in the land. So if you want to keep from getting sick, you put you on, let's say there's thousands of people dying. That's happened here in America. Get you some gloves and little laceless gloves, a box, and throw them away. This here is called N95. It's not just a regular mask. It's called N95. Now that N95 means it takes care of 95% of every disease on planet Earth. You can't get through this one, okay? Now, they sell these, and you can I don't know if you can get them at Walmart, get online and get them, but it's called an N95, but you can also get an N100. Now, if you want to take care of the other 5%, we'll talk about it a little bit. This is, I don't have no, but it's called Thieves' All. It come a little thing like that. You can go down here to Apple a Day, probably get it. Thieves' All was back when they broke in the pyramids and different graves and they killed people or robbed the people that were just been buried. They had diseases, and keep them from diseases. They found how it's 3 alls they mix together, and it's called a thief, like Thieves' All. You can get them right downtown. You get your little cotton ball, put your 2 or 3 drops in there, and throw it in this thing and put it on. You get on an airplane, people get sick. You breathe in everybody's air coming right back at you. Okay. So if you had one of these here on, you might look stupid. But if you had one of those on, and if you had get your little cotton ball and get you some Thieves' All, put 2 or 3 drops and put in there, it's not going to bother you, you see. There's a lot of things you can buy out there. This is a lavender all. You get these health food store. You rub this on your feet at night. Rub it on your feet, bottom of your feet. Makes you go to sleep. They do this in nursing homes. Some of them, they put a drop on a pill or something like that. Helps the people to sleep, see. It's called lavender oil. But I'm going to tell you some more about that in a minute. Man, this is the best thing in the world. I got a whole bunch of this stuff. Different things. I just brought this a little bit tonight. This is peppermint oil. Now, if you got an upset stomach and you got some real problems, all you do is throw 2 or 3 drops here and a little bit of glass of water and drink it in just a few minutes. Your stomach's feeling great, brother. You can rub it. You don't get it near your eyes, but you can put it on a spot you got a headache and make your headache go away, things like that. I got some clothes oil, and you take this clothes oil. It's not real expensive. Some of it is. But clothes oil, if you have any real problems, you can put it on. This will kill pain. Of course, I got stuff for shots and all kind of stuff, but this here will kill pain. Put it on your tooth, your gum, your tooth quit hurting. Let's see. There's a tea tree oil. Now this is a neat little thing to have. This here would keep you from dying if you get snake bit. Carry your little kit, have you a little Band-Aid or something and some little cotton ball, and put some of that on there. Put it on a snake bite, and it'll pull it out. You see, it'll pull the poison out, keep you from dying. A friend of mine in one of our preppers clubs, his daughter got bit somewhere around the eye or something, and he put some of that on it and put it there, and they went to the doctor, but she was all right, and he said, well, you've done a great thing by doing that. You can go to, I thought I had it here with me. I probably do somewhere. Yeah, I do. I knew I did. You can go to the store, health food store. This here is called a book on essential oils. And that's what I've just showed you. If you know how to use oils, a lot of times you won't have to go to a doctor. If you don't have a doctor, you can use oils to do certain things with. So you need a book. You need to educate yourself, and you can probably get that at Apple a Day or somewhere. It's called Essential Oils, and it tells a lot. There's a lot to learn. And I've studied this stuff for 20, 25, 30 years, so I know something about it, but I don't know near everything. I was telling Larry, we had a lady, and she's a doctor, and she's retired, and I've been going to school for 2 years to learn how to do different things and just have regular medical classes. Well, this is what I learned in 2 years. You do not want me to be your family physician, period. I guarantee it. But now I can give you a shot. I can sew you up and take stitches out. I mean, there's a few things that I can do that most people can't do. But you have to learn things. You got to put time into doing things and learning things. Right here, I won't take it out, but this is come out of a corn silk. And I think Larry knows a little bit about this. You can take a little bit of it in your hand and just a good little wad and make you some hot tea out of it. If you got kidney trouble, this will straighten up your kidneys. I read an article on a man, old doctor here in Gadsden, Alabama. I forget his name, but he put this fellow on this here. He said it saved his life. He had bad kidney trouble, and he just drank tea. I think Larry got some little pills, but you need a bunch of it. Like my brother-in-law used to get a wad of it and put on it. Make you some tea. And there's a thing, I wish I'd have got it. It's called rat vein. And you find them anywhere there's a lot of pine trees, and they'll be stick up about that tall. There'll be a little green plant, and they'll have little white veins running across. It's called rat vein. You use them for maybe about a week or 10 days. That's all you want to use that. For a kidney problem, they say just about take care of your problems. I mean, these are things that you need to know. I got Darrell wasn't here. Darrell Patton, he's probably the best herbist in the world. I mean, he takes people. He lives here in Gadsden, retired school teacher. I've been with him off and on for 25 years or so, and we go to the woods and things. He takes people in the swamps in Okie Swamp, and just takes a knife and shows you how to survive. He takes people in the desert, and this book is out of print. But if you get on the internet, it's Mountain Medicine by Darrell Patton, Darryl Patton. It's out of print, and this book is selling today on what you call that you get on. Yeah, and it's selling anywhere from $25 to around $1,000 for a book today, because it's out of print, and it'll be next year. I talked with Darrell yesterday. As a matter of fact, my name's in here. I helped him on the book. Now, Darrell didn't have to have anybody tell him how to herbs. He knows everything and about everything. But I helped him in there, so he put my name in there. Now, many years ago, I put a book together, and my wife actually done this. I don't know if anybody heard of Tommy Bass or not. It's called Life and Legend of Tommy Bass, mountain man, herb doctor, and Christian gentleman of Shinbone Ridge by Jack Keeler. Now, in here, we just told his life story. You can buy these for a few dollars down at Apple a Day. And in the back, it's got a number of things that Tommy, herbs he liked to do. And I put 3 different ways you can tell what to do about different, problems that you have. So these are real simple. But this is just a fun book. You need to buy a good book on herbs, edible plants and herbs. I mean, if you know it a little bit, it'd save your life. Everybody knows what a cattail looks like. Most people do. Now, if you know something about a cattail, not in the wintertime you can't use them because they get too fibrous. But during the year, spring and summer, you can take the root out of there. It's a big old potato. You can cook it up and make your mashed potatoes, throw a little something in there. You can slice it and fry it like potatoes. You can grind it up and make flour out of it. Just before it gets ready, you can watch it. There'll be looks like corn on the cob. I've heard people say they take it and boil it for corn on the cob. But before that, it'll have a lot of flour in it. And you just take it, put it over a sack, and just shake it. And you make these fine pancakes with that. Fine pancakes. This here, I stopped today. You wouldn't recognize that. These are elderberries. But in the first part of the year, they're just white. Just white. Big old plant. You can see them easy. You can't see them when they get this color. But you can take and put just a little bit of flour on the stuff and fry it. They said, Darrell told me it tastes just like chicken. Or fish, rather. I'm sorry if you like fish. If you don't like it, you can eat it anyhow. I mean, that'll help you. Now, these elderberries that I showed you, there'll probably be a virus. A lot of viruses around, and a lot of them kill people. We've had viruses that killed hundreds of thousands, millions of people across the earth. Elderberries. Now, you ain't going to like this part of it, but it's okay. It's all right for me. If you don't like it, don't do it. And I bought some. You can get online and buy elderberries. I take a half a pound, and I get me a half a gallon of vodka, 100 proof. You need 100 proof. And, you're like, well, we don't drink, Jack. I know we don't drink, Jack. We don't teach you to drink. Well, so for all the weak people, I realize that, but here's what I'm saying. That in your little bottles that you get are liquids. They'll have alcohol in them. But what I'm saying about this is a tablespoonful. You take a tablespoon, just like cough syrup. But it can keep you from getting sick and dying if there's an epidemic going around. So we wasn't drinking vodka. We're drinking. When you put elderberries in there, it altogether different. Turns red, and I mean it's got another taste. It don't taste like alcohol, but you only would want to use a tablespoon 2 or 3 times a day, and that will keep off from catching flus and stuff. You take more of it if you have it. There's a lot of things like that. Now, let me show you this thing right here. There's a lot I might not have a chance to get into, but we'll talk about what we can. But we can't drink vodka, remember that. Just tablespoon at a time. Larry let me by with that, maybe. This here is a torpedo stove. Sometimes you call it a rocket stove. Now, if anybody's interested, I got the phone number right here, and I give it to you. Man up on Grant Mountain makes them. And what this will do for you is you can cook on it. And all you need is a switch. A little switch come off a little limb, just a switch. You break it up. That's all you do. Put it on a piece of paper and stick it in there. That's all you got to do, buddy. Then, let me see if I got, yeah. Get you a couple of these little pine cones, drop it down in there. Man, you set your big old pot there and just cook up a storm. I mean, a switch, cook your whole meal. You might not have no electricity, you might not have no gas, but if you got $89, you can own one of these. You can buy these things a little cheaper. My wife found some for $40-something. But the thing about it is, these here are got double walls to them, and they got insulation in them. And like I say, you just put a little piece of paper, little switches on, and they get it started, drop that down here, put your skillet up here, and you just heat up a storm. Maybe nobody else have something to eat, but you'd have something to eat. This here's yellow root. And I know y'all know about yellow roots. Some of you do. But you can buy them for like about $2, $2.50 down at a health food store. I've had two people to tell me, let me tell y'all, if you drink this, you got to be a man. I mean a real man. If you're a woman, you got to be a real man. Because this stuff is better than quinine. I mean, it'll turn you inside out. But I drink it all the time. It don't bother me. I mean, you just put it, you can put this here in maybe a gallon, cook it about 30 minutes real slow. You strain it with a strainer. You put it in there in the refrigerator. If you got refrigeration, get it cold. Tastes better cold. And you just, you can drink you just a little teacup full 2 or 3 times a day. It says a tablespoon, but I can forget that, 2 or 3 tablespoons. This lady told me, and I know this, she said that 2 of them ladies said their husbands had bleeding ulcers, getting ready to die, I reckon. And they got on this yellow root, and both of them told me the same story. Said 20 years had passed, said their husband ain't even had no problem at all. That's the best stomach stuff you ever got. I drink it all the time, and my wife wouldn't touch it. She'd have to be dying. You'd have to pour it down her. But it's bitter, but it works for you. It'll really fix your stomach up. Let's see here now. Okay. Maybe I showed you. Oh, well, now here's a little something. These around everybody's house, you know what they are. They stick up on these little trees around, little bushes around. What you can do with that is, if you couldn't get your Coca-Cola, you can just make, that's a lemonade. Indian tea is what it's called. I'd rinse it off a little bit and throw a couple of them in the water, and I may cup you a big old glass of water too, a couple of them. Put a little honey or something in there if you want to, and that's what the Indians use for tea. So it'd be pretty good in the summertime or wintertime if you wanted a good old glass of tea and there wasn't a store open nowhere. That would work for you. At least it worked for me. There's no alcohol in it, just water. Now, this here, my friends, cost me $25. And it's a refrigerator. And you just plug it. Let's say you didn't have no electricity. You just plug that thing in your little cigarette lighter. About 30 minutes, this thing get down high 30s. I done tried it. It's got another switch in the back. You turn it and it'll heat too. It'll cook stuff, you know. But I got it for something cold. If nobody's got any cold stuff, I'm going to have some cold stuff, God willing, and use some water and get you some cold water, or cold Coca-Cola and stick in there, and just don't give it to nobody. They wonder where you got your cold drink in the middle of a famine or something. All right. That sort of covers a lot of that there. And shoot, I ain't even got in my message, but I'm this part of it. Now, flour, cornmeal, stuff like that, you know, they get bugs in it. Well, let me tell you what to do. What I do works for me. Get you a thing of big, maybe 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Stick it in your microwave. Okay? You can cook it, put it in there and just eat. You don't get it too hot and burn it up, but you can put it in there for 50, 60, 70 seconds, something like that, and you know, or you can do it maybe 40 seconds on each side of the bag, 5 pound bag, and that kills the bugs in it. I take it out and let it dry. I'll let it, heat dissipate. and put it in my freezer for about 3 days, 2 or 3 days. All right, then you don't have no bugs. But if you do have some bugs, it's all right, eat them. Ain't going to hurt you if ain't no food nowhere. Eat them. They're protein. I mean, you see them on here, shows on TV, eating grasshoppers and worms and stuff. I got a worm bed at my house. Let me tell you what 8 hens and a rooster do before they save your life. I had me a rooster and 8 hens at one time. All right, if you get your rooster and 8 hens will maybe cook you 40, get you 40, 50 eggs a week. You can buy a lot of stuff, folks. You can buy just old dried food, and you can. I bought some today. They're about I don't know. It was a couple of dollars for a dozen packs, and chicken and different stuff. All you got to do is put your little water in and heat it, and you got you something to eat. We'll get into some more of that here in just a minute. I got a lot of stuff here going on. Now I got a solar oven. Most of you don't know what that is, but I know. And you can find them get on your little thing and eBay and all that and find. It's called a cellular stove. And it's just one about so tall, and it's got a gauge on it, 360 degrees, I believe, oven on it, and you can open it up and put stuff in it just like you do any oven. And it has 4 pieces of aluminum, and they fold out. You set them out in the sun. You don't need no electricity. Man, I told Susan, I said, let us just try this thing out. And I want to know before time. So I got me a chicken, got me some rice, put a little water in there, and put my little solar oven out in the open for 2 hours. And we come back, man, that chicken just fell off that thing, just fell off the bone. That grease cooked out of there, and that rice is fluffed up just as yellow and pretty. Tastes good. You can do it in less than 2 hours, probably do it in an hour, but I just sat in there for a couple hours. And, when you can't cook something, it was $220. It was supposed to spend $240. I talked to him about $20, but it cost you a little more. I went to Brother Baker's here, first seminar he had, me and Susan. Listen, I found stuff at his place, brother. I paid $50 here for, and I got it from him for 50 cents. They just had a seminar, and I wish I could, but we didn't want to drive. We drove last time. It was 12 hours one way, 13 coming back, and I'm close to 100, and I didn't want to do it, so we just didn't do it. Well, I ain't 100, but I'm going to be 76 in October. I mean, a cook stove, we're getting that a little bit, but you got to have a lot of wood. I just put in a 3 or 4 year supply of wood, so I got wood, but this here is really neat. It probably weighs, I don't know, about 20 pounds or so. And but it'd really be nice to have. If you didn't have no electricity, no gas, no nothing, but you could find your little switch off a tree like you switch your kid with, and just one switch, and it'll cook you a little meal on there. These are things to help get you through if you don't have anything. Let's see. Okay. Coconut oil. We'll take a minute and talk about coconut oil. You need to get you some organic coconut oil, extra virgin. It's called coconut oil, organic extra virgin. And it helps a lot of things. It helps keep them. There was this one lady, she was a doctor, and her husband had Alzheimer's and last stages. And she said the first week she'd tell the difference. When a year he was back on his thing, doing his computer stuff. And not to say it's going to work that for everybody, but Parkinson's disease, all the mind diseases and things like that, the coconut oil. And you don't want to get that stuff at Walmart you cook with. I'm calling this coconut. It's organic, extra virgin. Go to a health food store. Go down here. Tell them Brother Jack sent you down here at Apple a Day. He's got it. And you can buy a little thing for 14 or a big one for maybe 28, and that'll last you a couple of months. And I put me a couple big old tablespoons a day in my coffee of a morning and have it drink it down like that. There's a thing that's called, I forget what it's called, but I'll tell you what it is. You take this coconut oil and you just get enough in your mouth, switch it around and leave it in there about 20 minutes. About 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. And you spit it out. Now what that does is called all pulling. If you got a book, it's called pulling. All pulling. And what it does is it takes the toxic things out of your stomach, out of your mouth. You got a lot of germs in your mouth and your throat. And what you do after about 20 minutes of it in there, you spit it out. It's this coconut oil, organic, extra virgin. And so you spit it out, then you rinse your mouth out. Now my son said, well, Daddy, why don't you just put a little salt in your mouth? It'll help cut that. So I do that and made a good idea to me. So I just take me a little salt, shake on my tongue, get me some water, and gargle and spit it out and that gets all the toxicity out. They're supposed to help you live longer. Now, we'll talk about water a minute. All right? You can live 3 or 4 days, that's all, without water. That's it. You're a dead man, and your family's dead. So your water is more important to you by far than your food. You go 40 days without food, 4 days maybe without water. Now, what you're going to do to have water, God told me, you do what you can do, and I do what you know not to do. There's people that go to church here, and they say, well, I'm just going to wait on God to, send it and take care of it. Well, let me tell you what, God is not going to send an angel to flush your toilet. I don't care who you are. I don't care what position you got in the church. It ain't going to happen. God said to do this, you do something. I said, all right, God, I got my drums out, the plastic drums. It gets to raining, you just go out and walk around your house and see where the most water comes off. Put you some drums around there. If water goes, I got several hundred gallons of water. So I go to Walmart, go to the bakery in there. And they'll sell you 5-gallon little drums for $1. Just $1. Got a good tight lid on it. And the only thing in there, you get at the bakery department now where the cookies are. And the only thing they keep in there is they got frosting that goes on the cakes. So they clean it out, but you might wipe it out some. And you can put stuff in there and store it, anything, and put the lid on, because rats will get in the stuff if you don't. You can't just put stuff in the whole box and throw it out there and expect it to be all right next year. So that don't happen. But you can put water in there. Let's say you spend $100. Spend $100. You bought 100 of them. Well, you got hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water in your house. I know about this stuff. I've been doing this for years and years and years. Before they was preppers, I knew how to do this stuff. I've been studying it for a long time. And I learned that I'm not near as smart as I'd like to be. It's just like, when I went to medical school for 2 years, I found out you don't want me to be your doctor. But I can do something. I know some things. So you got to spend time educating yourself and learning something.